Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is how to reorder columns of a data frame in selected order, in the form of selected order in PySpark. So for this I created one sample data frame. So this is my data and I have these many columns here. So list of columns I mentioned here and by using create data frame, I created one data frame here. And if you see here, so these many columns I have in this data frame. So in my here, so I given this is the order of the columns. Suppose while writing the data, I want in different order. So I want to save output of data frame. I want to save in different order. Then we have different options, different methods we need to follow. So in this first method, we are going to discuss now. So using select method, select function with the column list. So that means, so first what I did, I created one variable that is list of ordered columns. So now this order is like this: sales underscore DT, product underscore NM, source underscore NM. So like this order is there. So here I'm defining my required order here. So sales underscore DT, product name. So that means maybe I need this column at the first, maybe this column at the here. So that sequence of order of columns I mentioned here in the form of list. After defining this list of columns, what I'm doing is df underscore order. So that means this is my original data frame. If you see here, df underscore order, this is my original data frame. On that, I'm using select function, and inside select function, I'm passing this variable. So that means this one. So this variable means list of columns. So I'm passing here list of columns. And if I try to display this one, so data frame will be created in my mentioned list of columns order. So here I mentioned my order I given based on my requirement. Maybe you can change this order, maybe this one to here or this column to here. Okay, so based on requirement, you can change that. So this is method one. Next, method two is by using index method. So that means df of columns, df index of columns. So here what we used, df dot select, and inside that we may post list of columns. So here what I'm doing, so this is my order of the columns. So I given in the form of list. Next, what I'm doing, df underscore order. So this is my basic data frame, initial data frame. On top of this, I'm mentioning the index. So index, and inside that I am mentioning this variable here. So that means in this particular data frame, I need in this sequence of columns, order of the columns. Okay, so this is second method. Next, we'll come to third method by using select expression. So same thing. So df underscore order is our initial data frame. And here I'm using select expression. In expression, I'm directly mentioning the column names. So in the case of select function, so we need to pass a list of columns. List of columns we need to pass. But for select expression, directly we can mention names of the columns. In which sequence we need this order of the columns. So this is third method. And fourth method is, so we can create one function here. So I given function select underscore ordered underscore columns. and inside that I'm posing data frame and a list of ordered columns. So next I'm returning, what I'm returning is df.select list of ordered columns. See, in method 1 we used select method. So same line of code I kept under function here. So this method is equivalent to method 1. So only difference is I created function here. So now what I'm doing, I'm calling this function select underscore ordered underscore columns here, and inside that df, what is our df underscore order. Next, list of ordered columns, so that I defined here ordered underscore columns I need in this particular order. Okay, so this is fourth method. Next we'll come to fifth method. So what is fifth method is by using widgets. So here what I'm doing, db utilities dot widgets dot text. So I'm creating widget of text type, and my widget name is this one, list underscore ordered underscore columns, and here I'm giving empty text. So if I run this text, what will happen is it will generate this widget. So this is my widget name, and initially it will generate empty text. So these things will not be there in this empty text it will create. That means this widget will be blank. On top of that, what I'm doing is I'm using this db utilities dot widgets dot get. By using get method, I'm calling this widget. So that means this widget I'm calling. So here what I'm doing, I'm passing this list of columns here. See earlier, if you see earlier methods, we are defining one variable. If you see here, we are defining one variable and we are passing list of columns. So this is the same list of columns I'm passing here. See here, this whole thing is the list of columns. So what will happen once I hit this widgets dot get, it will give you this list of columns. But what will happen whenever we get widget output, it will be in the form of string format. So if you see here, normally in Databricks, if you use this get method, it returns the value of the widget as the string. But for further proceeding in Databricks notebooks, we want as Python list. That is like this one into our notebook using widget. But when the widget is fetched, it becomes string. So that means this whole string, this list of elements, it will come like this. First and ending, starting and ending as a double quote. That means string. So if you notice that this is string, not a real list. So for this, to convert this string of list to list, what we have to do is we have to use function called eval. What it does is it will interpret string into Python code. So suppose our widget value, so that means this list, if you pass through eval, what it does is it converts the string representation of list into actual Python object. So that means if you see here, I mentioned if condition here, if widget underscore value. So that means here we are calling this widget value, no? So dot strip I given. So why I given this strip is, what it does is, this is a Python function. What it does is it will remove leading and trailing white spaces. That means starting and ending of the list. Starting and ending of the list, If any white space characters are there, then it will remove those trailing and leading spaces. So after removing trailing and ending, so what will be there? This list will be there. If this list is provided here, if it is available here, then it will come to this condition. Here condition is given as eval widget underscore value. So that means this output will get in the form of string, as we discussed here, will get in a string format. This eval, it will convert again to list format. Suppose if you're not provided any list here, that means this widget is empty, then in else condition, I mentioned as empty list. Okay, so next we'll go further. Here what I did is we created function here. So we already written this function earlier. So here what doing is that function I'm calling here. That function I'm calling here, and we are getting output like this. So what is the difference between this method and previous method is, see if you see here, except this black, remaining is same. That means creating function is same, calling function is same. Only difference is in earlier method, we manually defining this list of columns. But in this method, we are calling through widget. That list of columns we are calling through widget. So that is the difference between previous method and this method. So, and as per this method, as per this order of the columns, this output data frame will generate here. So next we'll go for other method. So in this method, what I'm doing is first I'm printing, this is our initial data frame, I'm printing these columns. So that is initial order of the columns. So if you see here, initial order of the columns is this one. Next, what I'm doing is here in these columns, if you see in these columns, I have grade column here, this grade column. So this grade column, I want to get it at first. In data frame, my first column should be grade and remaining should follow other columns. So for that, what I'm doing is, first I'm mentioning grade here, list of grade. This is the first column I want to get. Plus, what I'm giving here, I'm giving list compensation. C for C in calls. C for C in calls. If C is not equal to grade. So that means in these calls, and that means in this list of columns, it will iterate one by one, and if grade is there, it will exclude that one. Except grade, remaining all columns, it will iterate one by one. So then what will happen? So first we'll get grade, and after that, remaining columns, it will iterate one by one. If you see here, we have grade here. Now it become first, and if you see here, this order is same as it is, it will maintain. See here, sales underscore dt, product underscore nm, source underscore nm, target underscore nm, product group, device category, product id, company name. Since grade is moved here, next we are getting here event name, event type, sessions count. So remaining order is same. So only this grade moving to starting point. And if you see here, our data frame is created like this. So first column will be grade, and remaining columns will follow their natural order. So next what I'm doing, same thing I'm printing here, initial order of the columns. Now what I'm doing here is I want these three columns first, initial. First three columns should be this one. See here, if you see, this is our original order. So in this, what I'm doing, these three columns, event name, product ID, product group. So that I'm moving to starting. And the remaining columns will follow their natural order. So that means where event name coming here, event name, event type, and what we given is event name we give product ID. Product ID will give. So that means if you see here, sales ID to device category will be there. From here, sales ID to device category. After that, this product ID we pulled here. Next, company name we are getting here. Grade we are getting here. This event name we moved here. And event type we are getting here. Sessions count here. So like this, we can select multiple columns. And here, for excluding these three columns, what I did is C for C in df underscore order dot columns. What I given if C not in this list. That means whatever columns I mentioned here, so that I mentioned here in this list. So that means what happens since I given condition, if C is not in, so these three columns it will exclude. Then remaining columns it will print. So these three columns and excluding these columns. So that total will get here. Okay, so next our next method is by using with column plus reorder using select function. So here what I'm doing, this is our initial data frame, and here I'm creating one new column called country, and here I'm using lead function. So in this country column, if you see here, these are all the columns. This up to here our initial data frame. For our initial data frame, I'm adding one country column. Since I used to lead, so we are getting India here. Next, what I'm doing, so here I'm printing our initial order of the columns. So if you see here, initial order of the columns, so here we don't have country column because this is our initial data frame. Next, what I'm doing on top of that, I want whatever I added column, this country column. So currently it is at the end. So now what I'm trying to do is this country I want to display as first column. So I mentioned here list of country plus in list compensation I given C for C in df underscore order dot columns. So here I'm not given any conditions because this country is added later. Okay, and df underscore order dot columns, it will give you initial data frame columns. So initial data frame columns, country. So now what will happen if you see here, sales ID to sessions count. If you see here, sales ID to sessions count. This is our initial data frame. Since we given country as the first column, so here we'll get country. Okay, so first country, next we'll get this our original data frame columns. Okay, so I shown here all possible different methods to reorder the columns. So you can try different ways like changing the columns, or you can mention multiple columns. Okay, so that's all about this video on how to reorder the columns as per your requirement. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.